Enjoy your time here and find peace in the stories we tell. If you liked the story, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to support the channel. I was defiled by a stranger, destroying my reputation. This was a scandal known to all. On the day Crown Prince Lucas broke off our engagement, I knelt amidst the pouring rain, my clothes long since soaked through. I, Catherine Jiao, looked up to see the Crown Prince sitting coldly in his carriage, his face void of emotion. Beside him sat my cousin, Vivian Li. She had plotted to ruin my good name, instructing others to humiliate me so the emperor would have an excuse to annul the marriage arranged by the late emperor. Now, she has achieved her goal. The Crown Prince did not say a word. I could not stand up, such was the hierarchy. My cousin standing beside him spoke softly. Your Highness, please let cousin Catherine stand up. The rain is so heavy, and she is frail. Who knows, she might even be pregnant. Those divisive words shocked me. I never expected Vivian to be so capable. I had underestimated her. Crown Prince Lucas's face immediately darkened. He got back into the carriage and left, leaving me kneeling in the rain. I suddenly laughed out loud. I remembered how he used to treat me like a treasure, yet now he discarded me like dust. It turned out it was all a lie. He had deceived me with his schemes. I asked someone to help me up. Blood flowed down my legs. As a princess without love, my miscarriage was no surprise. I did not know who the child's father was. I had sent people to investigate, but there was no news. That night, I had been drugged, my mind hazy. I could not even see clearly what the man who defiled me looked like. When I woke up, he had vanished, and I, in my disheveled clothes, was dragged out by the Crown Prince in front of everyone. He angrily cursed me as shameless, refusing to listen to my explanation, and immediately condemned me. The Empress scolded me, and insults from all directions poured down like heavy rain. They gave me no chance to defend myself. Friends from the past cut off all ties. So many people tried to force me to die, but my face was thicker than the city walls. Let them talk all they wanted, I was determined to live. I just hadn't expected to get pregnant. Today, the miscarriage was also part of my calculation. A bowl of medicine severed everything. The child was gone, and the last shred of affection between me and the Crown Prince ended here. If I live, he must die. If I die, he will live. I absolutely will not give up. Princess Chengyi, you should still take care of your body, the doctor advised. But I understood my own body well. I knew how to cherish it. After the doctor left, I asked Queenie, has my eldest brother replied yet? Queenie shook her head. It had been 2 months since the incident. My brother, Lian Jiao, was a cautious man. How could he not reply unless he was in trouble he couldn't solve? What about my father? Queenie shook her head again. My heart tightened. This was likely not simple. Queenie, you must go there personally, I said, then wrote a letter for Queenie to carry. I also sent 2 more letters via security escort agency. Fearing complications, I opened another secret channel. In the letters, I sent greetings to my father and brother, while using code words telling them absolutely not to return. I could handle the situation in the capital myself. Losing my reputation, having an unwanted child, being rejected, and mocked by the world meant nothing. As long as I was strong enough, they could not hurt me. Princess, your aunt has returned to the Jiao manor. There was only one aunt, Madame Yun Li, the younger sister of the same mother but different from my father. Before my father left, he told me to seek her out if anything happened. But it was this very person who had plotted the fatal blow against me. Vivian could not have devised such a vicious and comprehensive plan. The mastermind could only be her mother. Why are you stopping me? I am returning to my own home. It is the place where I was born, I said, cutting off her words. Catherine Jiao, your father said the Jiao manor is forever my home, she claimed. But the Jiao manor is decided by me. I, Catherine Jiao, lost my mother at 8 and shouldered the family burden at 9. My father and brother were out on the battlefield protecting the nation. I stayed in the capital, firstly because of the engagement with the Crown Prince, secondly to manage affairs, and thirdly to be the support for my father and brother, sending them news from the capital and preparing military supplies that the court did not provide. The Jiao manor had long been under my control. In the past, out of respect for my father, I yielded to her somewhat. But did she really think she could be the master of the Jiao manor? And you, an unclean person, what right do you have to manage the Jiao family? She sneered. And what about Vivian? She followed the Crown Prince without clarity, not even having the status of a concubine. What does that count as? What about the person you are hiding in the West Manor? Does your husband know about this? Do I need to remind you of a few things? If we hurt each other, Who is afraid of whom? I did not bother to argue about her filthy deeds. If I really wanted to settle the score, I could beat her to death with a single stick. She glared at me, her face extremely unsightly, looking as if she wanted to tear me apart right there. But she held back. Then she looked up at the sky and laughed loudly. That was in the past, she said. Now the crown prince is preparing to choose my Vivian as the crown princess. As for you, whether you can marry anyone in this lifetime is hard to say. The look of triumph in her eyes made me want to laugh. I coldly replied, then hold on tight, do not let the boat capsize. I will absolutely not let Vivian become the crown princess. She should not even dream of being a side consort. Madame Yunli stood up to leave. She said, if you dare to be heartless, I will dare to be unjust. I signaled the servants to see the guest out. Madame Yunli was supported as she went out. At the main gate, she intended to open her mouth to curse, but fearing the loss of face, she held it in. Catherine, just you wait. Waiting? How ridiculous. I would not sit still and wait for death or wait for her to come deal with me. I arranged to meet Xianxia, the eldest granddaughter of the Prime Minister, and send her some information to ensure she would achieve her wish of sitting in the position of crown princess. One does not accept a reward without merit. What does the princess want? Celine asked bluntly. What I want is also clear. It is the medical hall in your hands, I replied. Princess, you really know how to do business. Celine chuckled. A medical hall in exchange for the position of crown princess, and the future empress. Everyone knows what to choose, right? Celine was silent for a moment, then smiled faintly. Princess is right. Deal. Having obtained what I wanted, I stood up to leave. When I reached the door, I heard Celine ask from behind, Princess, do you not feel hate? I stopped, gritted my teeth for a moment, and then walked out. Of course I hate it. I hate the crown prince, I hate Vivian, and I hate Madame Yunli. There will be a day when I make them die without a burial place. The opportunity for revenge came faster than I thought. When Prince Damien asked to meet me, I knew the chance had arrived. Compared to the heartless and unrighteous crown prince, Prince Damien always maintained a gentle smile and behaved thoughtfully towards everyone. But I had once seen him kill a man decisively, without a moment's hesitation. Compared to the cruelty of the crown prince, Prince Damien far exceeded him. When I met Prince Damien, he said, Princess, there is no need for formalities. In the past, we were enemies. I opposed the crown prince, and you protected him. He plotted against me, and I also dealt with you. Now we are of one mind. I need you to lend a hand to overthrow the crown prince, and I will help you take revenge. With the princess's assistance, it is truly like a tiger adding wings, Prince Damien said. Whatever the princess wants, just speak frankly. I thought for a while and replied, I want to restore the nation's peace and live a leisurely life. Prince Damien, permit us to leave the capital and return to live a secluded life in the countryside. Is the capital not good? Prince Damien asked. Is the capital good? I laughed coldly. People plotting against people, people eating people, trampling on morality for power. Is the capital good? Perhaps not everyone is as heartless and unrighteous as the crown prince. That is likely so. Prince Damien replied. I did not want to hear him paint an illusory future. I had suffered once, I had been deceived once. The bloody lesson had nearly cost me the chance to rise again. I bowed and excused myself. Prince Damien walked to the door, turned back, and said, Princess, in the crown prince's hands is a team of shadow guards consisting of 15 men. Everyone has superior martial arts skills. The leader is the guard captain beside the crown prince. There is also the Huechuan Tower, which is his property. These were not things the crown prince revealed, but clues I had investigated myself. Previously I hid them for the crown prince, but now I wanted to borrow Prince Damien's hand to clip the crown prince's wings. The crown prince's martial arts have flaws in the 17th and 39th moves. If hit, he will be seriously injured at best, or lose his life at worst. I stepped onto the carriage and looked up at the tower. I saw Prince Damien leaning against the door frame, his finger gently pushing the window to create a crack, revealing one eye and half a face. I could not see his expression clearly, but the chess piece had been offered. As long as he was ambitious enough, the crown prince would hardly escape this calamity. Just as I returned to the Zhao manor, I was surprised to see the crown prince waiting. He stepped up and grabbed my hand tightly, with enough force to crush my bones and flesh. Catherine, do you not have a heart? How could you tell my secrets to someone else? I understood what he was saying and laughed coldly, pushing his hand away. What about you? When you plotted against me, did you think that I might not be able to bear it and commit suicide? a woman who lost her reputation completely, with disheveled clothes, mocked by the people. If she had any self-respect, would she not choose death? He replied, "Are you not living well right now? You would never seek death." I spoke in a cold voice. "You understand me very well, so when you plotted, you showed no mercy. You abandoned me first. You ruined my whole life. You and Vivian are unclear with each other. You betrayed the promise of the past. Why are you allowed to burn the city, while I am not allowed to light a lamp? Crown Prince, do not forget, I was not only your fiancé, but I also once saved you. On a freezing winter day, I pulled you up from the lake, leaving myself with a chronic illness. Back then, you said you would remember this kindness for a lifetime, and would not fail me in this life. But the person who hurt me the deepest, the one who caused me the most suffering, is you. What right do you have to question me? What face do you have to step into the Jiao manor? What I cannot have, Vivian should not dream of either. Do not speak of being the crown princess. She cannot even be a side consort." After speaking, I realized my face was wet. The corners of my lips tasted bitter. It turned out I had cried. The crown prince hurriedly wanted to say something, but I cut him off. I pushed him away, bowed my head to bid farewell to the crown prince, and then knelt to perform the grand ceremony. He pointed at me, staggering back 2 steps. You are forcing me again. Catherine, you are forcing me." I coldly replied, "I just want to tell your highness that from today, you and I are finished. From now on, we walk separate paths. In the future, if we meet on the battlefield, I will show no mercy and you need not be soft-hearted. Love dissolves today. Righteousness is severed today." The crown prince turned and walked away. I took a handkerchief from a maid to wipe away the tears that were full of deceit but very useful. I called Wayne closer and quietly instructed him to go do his work. The next morning at court, the censors impeached Vivian's father for corruption. The evidence was solid, leaving no room for denial. A coward like a mouse, he did not wait for the decree but confessed all his crimes immediately. He was flogged, stripped of his position, and his property was confiscated. Vivian could not even talk about marrying the crown prince. Even a minor official would not bother to look at her now. When Madame Yunli came crying and begging for an audience, I was preparing to go to the medical hall. "Catherine, you have such a vicious heart. That is your uncle. How could you harm him like that?" she screamed, rushing towards me. Madame Yunli charged forward with a ferocious appearance, possessing none of her former noble elegance. She was blocked by the people beside me. I laughed coldly. "I harmed him? How did I harm him? Madame Yunli, words without proof should not be spoken recklessly. Although my father and brother are not in the capital, I am still a princess personally appointed by the late emperor. According to etiquette, when meeting me, you must kneel and bow." The carriage curtain was lifted, and Vivian stepped down. Her eyes were red and swollen, her appearance frail as if she had been heavily bullied. Her legs were unsteady, and she deliberately rubbed her stomach. I frowned. Could it be she was pregnant with the crown prince's child? "Cousin," she said, "even though you are a princess, you must observe the 3 bonds and 5 constant virtues. My mother is your biological aunt." I sneered and asked back, "Then what about the empress? Does the Duchess of Ying kneel when she enters the palace to meet the empress?" Vivian opened her mouth, but could not say a word. Her speechless appearance looked truly ridiculous. "Miss Li, that day your cup of tea ruined my reputation. I lost, so I accepted it. I once thought you were smart, but since the incident of drugging and framing me, we no longer have the face to meet each other. You still come to the gate of the Jiao manor pretending to be pitiful. Do you not feel humiliated? And why are you rubbing your belly? Do you have the crown prince's child? But both the positions of crown princess and side consort have been decided. So what position did the crown prince give you? Committing murder is one thing, but you also want to kill the human heart." Vivian's face turned pale, her body trembling as if she were about to collapse. Madame Yunli intended to comfort her but was stopped by her. In the silence, she said, "Miss Jiao, do you not find it funny that you blame everything on me? That cup of tea was indeed brewed by me, but it passed through the crown prince's hands, and you drank it willingly. You dare not blame the crown prince, so you pour all your anger onto me because I am not as noble as you. So what if I look down on you?" I took 2 steps forward, touching the hilt of the sword at my waist. Vivian knew my martial arts were not ordinary and understood I dared to strike for real, so she backed away 2 steps in fear. "You dare to hurt me? In my belly is the crown prince's flesh and blood," Vivian screamed. I replied indifferently, What is so rare about the crown prince's flesh and blood? We have to see if you can give birth to it. If you cannot give birth, then it is nothing. I pulled a jade hairpin from my hair and threw it hard onto the ground. From now on, the Jiao family and the Li family sever all ties. No more interactions. People of the Jiao family, listen up. If anyone from the Li family dares to step foot into the Zhou manor, drive them out with force. The shouts echoed loudly. Seeing Madame Yunlai and her daughter pale, faced and unsteady on their feet, I resolutely got into the carriage and left. As for that mother and daughter pair, pretending to be pitiful while their hearts were full of schemes and calculations, they had long lost all humanity. Who would care why they came here? The daughter of a general is not a fool. I promised to hand over the medical hall, but I never said I would hand over the doctors and the medicinal herbs. Among the young ladies of noble families who were carefully raised, how many were truly knave? Even Vivian's mind was full of schemes. She was pregnant but dared not go to the crown prince's palace to cause trouble, nor did she dare to enter the royal palace to make a scene. Knowing that many people in the Jiao manor were watching, she made a fuss so that everyone would know she was pregnant. But even so, could the child be born? Crown Prince Lucas was a selfish man. His current crown princess was the prime minister's granddaughter. To strengthen ties with the prime minister's estate, he would not allow an illegitimate child before a legitimate one. No matter how many times Vivian calculated, it would only be like water off a duck's back. Everything she sought would ultimately be just an illusory dream. Princess, we have arrived at the medical hall. I hurriedly got off the horse and entered the empty medical hall. I climbed over the wall and landed in the courtyard next door. When I saw Prince Damien, I almost lost my soul. Why are you here? This was the first time I could not hide my fear and panic. The feeling of having someone's my weakness was truly uncomfortable. Your older brother is inside. Go see him. I pursed my lips, hurriedly bowed, and said, "Thank you, Prince Damien, for managing this for me." After speaking, I rushed into the room and saw my eldest brother lying on the bed, his face pale and haggard. I almost couldn't hold back my tears. My brother held my hand and asked softly, "Is it serious?" I shook my head and replied, "It's just a small wound." My brother patted my head and smiled. "Kitty has grown up." I wiped my wet eyes. Grown up. Yet he still called me Kitty. Perhaps in my brother's eyes, I would forever be the 11 or 12-year-old girl who, years ago, upon hearing he had to go to war, pulled his hand refusing to let him go, and then cried while riding a horse to chase him for dozens of miles. "Brother, why did you come back? Did you not receive my letter?" I asked. My brother nodded. "I received it, but I was worried about you." His eyes were full of sorrow. "Kitty, you have suffered." I shook my head. "This little grievance is nothing compared to your life." For a military general to return to the capital without permission is a great taboo. If accused by malicious people, the consequences would be unpredictable. I asked, "When will you return to the border?" I was very reluctant to part with my brother and had so many things to say, but he had to leave. He could leave at any time, but he was not at ease with me. My brother instructed, "Kitty, remember, no matter when, in my heart and father's heart, you are always the most important. Do not let yourself suffer. Tell me, what exactly happened?" I took a deep breath, reopening the wound in my heart, and recounted in detail what had happened that night. Vivian made the tea. The cup of tea was drugged. The crown prince added something else, causing me to lose my guard and accidentally fall into the trap. Back then, I truly had no defense. I trusted the man I loved and the cousin I always pampered. I never thought they would cooperate to harm me. My brother asked, "Who was that man?" I shook my head. "I do not know. I sent people to investigate, but found no clues. All traces were wiped clean, leaving no mark." At that time I was extremely angry, busily investigating the truth, and forgot to take contraceptive medicine. When I found out I was pregnant, the decree to break off the engagement had already come down, and the child was gone after the day of the annulment. My brother was silent for a long time, then asked, "Has your body recovered yet?" As expected, he understood me. I nodded slightly. My brother said, "Kitty, I will definitely demand justice for you." I smiled and held his hand. "Revenge is something I can do myself." Remembering Prince Damien, I told my brother to rest and left the room. Prince Damien asked, "Were you pregnant?" His voice revealed a disappointment and sadness that couldn't be described. I looked at him. For the first time, I suspected the child was an evil seed. I replied, "The past is the past, let's not mention it again." I saw his hand clench into a fist. "Do you want to find that man?" Prince Damien asked. If you find him, what will you do? I gritted my teeth and replied, kill him. I truly hated him, and I truly wanted to kill someone. Sometimes I asked myself who that person was, to be able to freely enter and leave the north courtyard as if it were an empty land. The guards were all scarecrows. Where had the crown princes and Vivian's people gone? Just then, a servant ran over in a panic. Princess, it's not good. The entire city is under martial law. No one is allowed to leave the city. My heart suddenly went cold. Everything was clearly targeting my brother. I hurriedly asked, decree. The person replied, it is the crown prince's plan. I lost my reputation. At first, I thought the crown prince and Vivian truly loved each other and wanted to remove me as an obstacle. But the truth proved the crown prince did not love Vivian. He still had feelings for me but plotted to harm me. I had forgotten one person, the emperor. The late emperor trusted us completely, but the current emperor was particularly wary of the Jiao family. Especially my father and brother, they had established many war merits and were loved by the people. There was already a trend of merit overshadowing the master. Our family had few members. My father and brother both valued relationships heavily. If something happened to me, my father or brother would surely sneak back to the capital to investigate. Without an order, Lian Zhao's return would be punishable by beheading according to military law. More seriously, it could lead to the extermination of the entire clan. I gave the order, at all costs, get my brother out of the capital. Prince Damien held my hand tight and said, Catherine, you must calm down. I smiled bitterly. How can I be calm? That is my brother. You treat me like a precious jewel. Right now, it is best if you do nothing. Prince Damien said, there are many people watching. If you make a move, you will immediately fall into danger. If you trust me, let me send people to get your brother out of the capital. I looked at Prince Damien, wondering in my heart why he wanted to help me. No reward without merit. If accepted, a price must be paid. What price do you need me to pay? The fire is already burning at your feet, yet you still think about these things. Truly worthy of the name Catherine. I understand too well that in this world, there is no free lunch, except from parents. My brother, who would be good to me unconditionally. I have reached marriageable age but have not been designated as a princess consort. I replied, I am of unclean status, not worthy of you. Prince Damien smiled faintly. Worthy or not is for me to decide. The emperor will not agree to let the crown prince marry the daughter of a civil official family, but marrying the daughter of a military general is the best balance. Father emperor will agree. The emperor is getting old and weak, while the crown prince is in his prime. The emperor needs someone to check the crown prince. The children of the crown princess and the noble consort both have equally powerful maternal backing. Princess, your time to think is not much. I seemed to hear the sound of weapons clashing in battle. Looking into the house, I saw my brother seem to have fallen asleep. In reality, his body was weak and he had fallen into a coma. At the city outskirts, my brother was taken away by Prince Damien. I chased a few steps, then stopped and took a deep breath. I did not rush back home but stood waiting for the imperial guards to arrive. Princess, we are surrounded. The leader of the imperial guards was none other than an old acquaintance of mine. He said not a single superfluous word and immediately ordered his men to search both the medical hall and the courtyard next door, missing no spot. Princess is truly clever. Officer Doan spoke up. What does the officer say? This princess does not understand, I replied. Pretending to be deaf and blind was also my specialty. The princess should hand the person over. Then, before the emperor, you can still beg for forgiveness. Hand the person over to beg. If I really handed him over, it would be the day of my doom. Then, princess, please enter the palace to meet the emperor and explain clearly. Before the hall of mental cultivation, I stood waiting for a very long time. My body was still weak after the miscarriage, my head was dizzy, and I could not stand steadily. I knew the emperor wanted to keep me there. As long as I could not give orders, my subordinates would get anxious and make mistakes, revealing loopholes. Princess, the emperor summons you. I walked into the hall of mental cultivation, performed the ceremony, and bowed my head. Your subject greets the emperor. The emperor spoke. Princess Chengyi. Ah, stand up. Chengyi was my title. The late emperor said Cheng meant journey, and Yi meant etiquette, a title he found gracious and fitting. The emperor continued, Princess Chengyi, I heard General Zhao has returned to the capital. I replied, who said that? My eldest brother returned to the capital. He left the capital when I was only 10 years old. Now I am 16. It has been nearly 6 years. I do not know if I would still recognize my brother if I met him again. The emperor looked at me coldly, as if wanting to provoke my psychological state, but he did not know that I had seen through his thoughts and schemes long ago. When the rabbit dies, the hunting dog is cooked. When the bird flies high, the good bough is put away. When the enemy is defeated, the strategist is killed. The emperor's way of ruling the country was exactly like that. When using people, they are capable officials. When fearing them, they have merit overshadowing the master, and can rebel at any time. The emperor said, I haven't summoned your father for many years either. I will issue a decree to recall him to the capital, so your family can be reunited. Your subject thanks the emperor for his grace. I hurriedly knelt and kowtowed to thank him. The emperor thought he could use this tiny favor to bribe me, forcing me to reveal my brother. He truly underestimated me. Not all daughters in this world have long hair but short sight, easily dazzled by illusory benefits. As soon as I left the hall of mental cultivation, I was immediately led by the empress's people to Weiyang Palace. The empress truly wanted to be a villain while building a noble reputation. She thought I was unworthy of her son, but she wanted to seize the Jiao family's military power. The empress made me stand outside Weiyang Palace for the time it takes to burn an incense stick before calling me in. The crown princess and side consort have been decided. The Li family has also been arranged. You are no longer clean. I did not let her finish her sentence and immediately interrupted. Your Highness, the Empress, truly has wild dreams. Your subject has a status that is no longer clean and is unworthy of His Highness the Crown Prince. Even more so, I cannot let His Highness become a laughingstock for the world because of me. His Highness is the bright moon in the high sky, while I am just dust underfoot. As dust, how dare I aspire to the stars? I was not a madman. Having just escaped a fire trap, I would not jump back in myself. Prince Damien and I had just started cooperating. We hadn't even crossed the bridge, so how could I burn it immediately? Did I live too long and not die fast enough? The Empress looked at me and laughed coldly. You think I want to look at you, you dirty thing. Not liking me is good, I was afraid you liked me. I bowed and excused myself. Your subject takes her leave. I hurriedly left, afraid she would change her mind. At the palace gate, I encountered Prince Damien leaving and the Crown Prince entering. Two brothers, one entering, one leaving. The undercurrents surged endlessly. I did not want to participate in their struggle, so I ignored them. The Crown Prince prepared to leave. Prince Damien held me back and said, Princess Chengyi, this is the imperial decree for marriage from Father Emperor. From now on, you will be my princess consort. Damien. The Crown Prince shouted angrily, do you want to die? Then he swung his fist at Prince Damien. I never thought there would be a day when two men would fight over me, disregarding their dignity to rush into a fight right in front of the palace gate. No one dared to bear witness, no one dared to intervene. I stood aside, coldly watching them fight. In my heart, I maliciously hoped that Prince Damien, with his high martial arts skills, could beat the Crown Prince to death directly, until the Emperor sent someone to forcibly stop them and call them into the palace for a report. The atmosphere finally calmed down. Prince Damien walked up to me and said, Princess Chengyi, accept the decree. He shoved the decree into my hand and then strode away. The Crown Prince looked at me with eyes as if I had put hundreds of green hats on his head. His eyes were full of pain and anger. Humph, that pretentious look, who was he acting for? I walked faster than them, having no time to linger with them. In my heart, I only wanted to know if my brother had safely left the capital. Both the Crown Prince and the second prince were punished. The punishment was neither heavy nor light, but it made everyone clearly know the reason. Although not overt, it was enough to ruin their reputations. Queenie asked me, Princess, between the Crown Prince and the second prince, who does the Emperor seem to favor more? He favors no one. I replied, surprising Queenie, and even I found it difficult to understand. There are many things that if you do not experience them personally, you will not understand. But once experienced, when the curtain is lifted, the truth is harsh and extremely cruel. I read the marriage decree over and over again. The content was the same as the last time, the only change was from Crown Prince to Second Prince. Queenie asked, Princess, do you plan to make shoes and socks for the second prince? I shook my head. I haven't touched a needle and thread in a long time. If I have that time, I'd rather practice sword fighting or boxing. Furthermore, I did not love him, so why should I make shoes and socks for him? Prince Damien sent someone to tell me to visit him, but I did not go. I only sent someone to bring medicinal herbs. The crown prince mimicked this exactly, but I paid no attention. When Celine came to visit, I wasn't surprised. Outside, people talked about me in all sorts of ways, mostly mocking and sarcastic, saying I had been through so much, rejected by the crown prince, yet didn't seek death. The world ridiculed me for being rejected by the crown prince, and then getting entangled with the second prince. Those people were both envious and jealous of me. They despised me with their mouths, but in their hearts, they wished they could be like me. Their mouths said one thing, but their hearts thought another. Truly hypocritical, nothing more, I asked. Why has the crown princess come here? Celine laughed faintly. Not yet, but sooner or later I will be. Listening to her, I had nothing left to say. Thinking of the crown prince, he made himself a joke. He pushed me away with his own hands, but then still lingered with feelings. It truly made people laugh. Celine continued. I came because someone asked me to. The crown prince wants to meet you, or you can go visit him. I laughed coldly and replied, what are you thinking? Truly stupid and impossible to follow. Celine raised her eyebrows and said, will you go or not? I don't care. I'm just passing the message. I lifted my teacup and drank. She intended to say something more but choked on her words. The young ladies of noble families all understood the rule of lifting the teacup to see off guests. Even if she had words to say, she swallowed them to save face. She excused herself. I replied, I won't see you out. Right now, she is not yet the crown princess. I was a princess and could choose not to see her out. But when she became the crown princess, I would have to respectfully escort her to the door, and bow as she got into her carriage to leave. Just thinking about it was boring. In the middle of the night, Prince Damien, not knowing the immensity of heaven and earth, broke into the Jiao manor. When surrounded, he hurriedly called out, it's me. Fearing I didn't hear clearly, he called my name even louder. Catherine. I signaled the guards to withdraw and, with a cold face, invited him into the house. I asked, why did you come here? He replied, if you don't come to visit me, I have to come find you myself. I was silent at his words. My heart was as calm as water, without a single ripple. I told him to sit. He shook his head and said, my buttocks hurt, he said. For the past 2 days, I've had to sleep on my stomach. It's truly miserable. I thought the emperor must have ordered the guards to beat lightly, but it was enough to damage muscles and bones. Not fatal, but painful to the marrow. I sighed and asked softly, was it necessary for you to do that? Prince Damien replied, should I just endure it when the crown prince hits me? We are both princes. I am the son of a concubine, he is the legitimate son. Later, when he becomes emperor, I fear it will be hard for me to survive. He treats the woman I like as dust. If he wants to plot, he plots. If he wants to abandon, he abandons. You say, the woman you like is me. I felt no joy, nor did I feel my pride satisfied. I only found it funny. I interrupted Prince Damien. The person that night, was it you? He stammered for a long while and did not answer. I said, it wasn't you. Right. He remained silent. I understood. It really wasn't him. I said, Damien, I am no longer perfect. I am not worth your sacrifice. He frantically hugged me tight, shouting, Catherine, don't despise yourself. You are worth it. You deserve all the best things, the most sincere love in the world. Really? Do I deserve it? Is there really a man in this world who doesn't care about a woman's purity? Prince Damien growled. Don't ask who he is. Catherine, you don't need to know who he is. You just need to know that I personally slashed him with 1,000 cuts, not missing a single one. I crushed his bones to dust. I only hate that I arrived late that day, letting you suffer harm. I believed half of Prince Damien's words, and half I didn't. If I had nothing, perhaps I would believe it all. But I had everything. My father and brother held military power, and the family fortune was countless. Experience gave me a lesson. Once bitten by a snake, 10 years afraid of a rope. I thought that in this lifetime, perhaps I could never truly and wholeheartedly love anyone again. When the noble consort summoned me to the palace, I was a bit uneasy, afraid she would find ways to make things difficult or humiliate me, just like the Empress usually did. But she only gently patted the back of my hand and said, you have suffered injustice. Later, live well with Damien. Did you know Damien chose his own courtesy name before coming of age? I am not sure why he chose such a name. It implies dust and humility, unlike the word success, in my name. Later, when you are married, advise him to listen to his father emperor. I smiled and returned the courtesy. The noble consort usually looked gentle and kind, but I understood clearly that in this deep palace, no one truly kind could sit in the position of noble consort, give birth to a prince, and raise him to adulthood. Regarding Damien choosing his courtesy name before coming of age, I was truly surprised. I did not go to the wedding of the Crown Prince and Celine, nor did I intend to. I heard it was very lively, but what did that have to do with me? I also had to get married. There were countless things to worry about, from preparing the betrothal gifts to managing family affairs. The dowry could not be too much, fearing people's jealousy, nor could it be too little, to avoid being looked down upon. My father and eldest brother received the decree to return to the capital. I waited early at the 10-mile pavilion outside the city. My father was old, his hair completely white, his face full of the tragic marks of time. Only his eyes were still bright, showing the upright temperament of a brave general. I rushed into my father's arms, unable to hold back my choking tears. "Kitty, don't cry, father is back. Whatever injustice you suffered, father will definitely demand justice." My father was a man of his word, he never made empty threats. He went to the palace to see the emperor first. After the audience with the emperor, he went straight to the East Palace and beat the crown prince with a whip, humiliating him thoroughly in front of everyone. My father did this to show the world that between the Jiao family and the East Palace, there was no longer any affection. Since my father and brother returned, those who had previously cut off relations with me shamelessly came to seek reconciliation. I had long seen through their hypocritical faces. Sometimes flattering, sometimes treacherous, without a shred of sincerity. Such people were not worth associating with, nor were they worthy of my dowry. According to my father's wishes, the wedding had to be very grand, with 10 miles of bridal sedans, to make everyone jealous. I objected, but it was useless because my father wanted my wedding to be even bigger than the crown prince's, to prove that I would forever have the Jiao family as my support. Father told me to just marry with peace of mind. I knew father wanted to use this wedding to prove to the world that I never lacked protectors. Madame Yunlai once came to see my father, crying and admitting her fault, saying she only did those evil deeds because she was confused. I stood outside the door and heard my father recount stories from when they were young and close, reminding her of our grandfather's dying words. I thought my father would soften his heart and forgive her, but he frankly said, if it were just fighting over a bit of wealth or bickering due to parental favoritism, it wouldn't be a big deal. But you heartlessly harmed Kitty. Did you think of our blood ties then? Is power that important? Is a man so important that you must sever family ties? My father did not soften his heart at all. Go, from now on, do not come again. The sibling bond between us is considered severed. Madame Yunli wept bitterly, slapping her own face, apologizing endlessly, saying she only made a mistake in a moment of confusion. My father remained silent, not moved in the slightest. Although surprised, I felt this was inherently logical. If my father were not decisive, how could he command the 3 armies? But I also knew my father was heartbroken. After all, she was his biological sister. I wanted to comfort him but didn't know how to start. My wedding day was getting closer, and I couldn't help but worry. Prince Damien valued this wedding more than I imagined, personally arranging every big and small detail. He sent the betrothal gifts over and over again. The 6 rites were not missing a single thing. On the day I left home, my father gave me 1,000 instructions, but finally only said one sentence: "You must live well." My eldest brother said to Prince Damien, "I only have this one sister. You are not allowed to bully her, nor are you allowed to betray her. Otherwise, I definitely will not forgive you." Prince Damien reassured him, "Rest assured, brother. Kitty is a treasure in my heart." Those affectionate words truly gave me goosebumps. I just laughed secretly in my heart. When we bowed to heaven and earth and entered the bridal chamber, I heard the crown prince also came. Queenie intended to say something more, but I cut her off. That kind of person is not worth mentioning. It only adds to the annoyance. Now I no longer want any connection with him. The princess consort is very right. Damien had been granted the title of prince, so naturally, I became the princess consort. Your Highness, this is the food the prince ordered this servant to prepare for you. Please eat first to stave off hunger. There were a few light dishes and a bowl of green vegetable porridge, exactly the flavor I liked. Even the vegetable porridge only had fresh, tender greens. Prince Damien was truly thoughtful. On the wedding night, I was very tense. Although losing my purity was not my fault, I was still the one who had been defiled. I lingered in the bathroom for a long time before finally returning to the bedroom. "Kitty, let's rest." I was worried, and he was equally nervous. The next day, going to the palace to offer greetings, I was so tired I could barely walk steady. Perhaps because of the physical intimacy between us, there seemed to be something unspoken. The crown prince stood on the steps, looking coldly at us, his eyes looking as if he wanted to swallow us whole. Prince Damien supported me as we performed the ceremony. The crown prince was silent for a long time, then his face darkened and he walked away. Prince Damien comforted me. Don't pay attention to him. His brain is broken. I did not doubt these words at all. The crown prince had truly lost his mind. As for the empress, she became even more stupid and bitter. My mother consort was different. She was still gentle and friendly. Go back and rest. Later, come into the palace often to keep me company. From now on, I must change my address for her to mother consort. I realized that beside Prince Damien, there were no concubines or maids. Aside from a few old cleaning women, only male servants attended him. In contrast, on my side was a large crowd of maids, all of whom were sharp and proficient in martial arts and medicine. Compared to Queenie, whom I had trained since childhood, they were even somewhat superior. When we returned to visit my home 3 days after the wedding, Prince Damien's behavior was flawless. He prepared several carriages of gifts, but the more it was like this, the more my brother reminded me to stay calm. Brother, rest assured, I understand clearly. If Damien's kindness is just an act, I absolutely will not let myself be swept up in it. If I am truly deluded, not only will I lose my life but I will also implicate father, you, and the entire Jiao clan. It was sad and laughable, but it was the harsh truth. Life after marriage was peaceful, calmer than I imagined. Everything seemed to suddenly become lighter. One day, a servant came to report that there was an incident in the East Palace. Vivian gave birth prematurely. The child was a boy, but he stopped breathing as soon as he cried. Vivian accused the crown princess, Serene, of harming her and even produced evidence. But before the crown princess could prove her innocence, she threw herself headfirst into a wall. She didn't die, but instead, it was discovered she was pregnant. So what if the crown princess really harmed Vivian? The child in the crown princess's womb was the legitimate grandson. The crown princess was indeed smart. Vivian lost both her child and her status, becoming a useless person in the East Palace. Losing her child, she was despised even more by others. But with her bitter nature, how could she accept her fate? 1 month after falling pregnant, Serene was poisoned. Her life was in danger, and the fetus was also at risk. Without needing an interrogation, Vivian turned herself in. She accused the crown prince of being heartless and unrighteous, using her before to harm me, and now that she had no use, discarding her. A cup of poison and 3 feet of white silk, that was her final path. Madame Yunli came to beg, but I only said indifferently, let her go. We severed ties long ago. Life and death are no longer related. Anyone who touched Vivian now would face bad luck. I had no time to get entangled with her. She stood outside the door cursing me frantically, was gagged, thrown into a carriage, and taken away. As for where she went, no one knew, and no one cared. The censors, like vultures smelling rotting flesh, simultaneously turned their eyes toward the crown prince. If he couldn't even handle small matters in his harem, how could he handle the affairs of the court? The emperor reprimanded the crown prince in court, intending to let the matter pass. But then someone reported that the crown prince was training private soldiers, hoarding weapons, and manufacturing dragon robes. Even if only one of these 3 things were true, it was enough to make the crown prince stumble. The crown prince cried out his innocence miserably. The person who submitted the memorial was a man of the 4th prince. The crown prince stared coldly at the 4th prince. The two nearly fought right in the great hall. Prince Damien returned to the manor and told me the court stories. He slapped the table and laughed loudly. Wait for them to tear each other apart. I will sit and enjoy the benefits. Looking at Prince Damien's gloating appearance, I couldn't help but sigh. Do you think you can really fool the emperor? After father handed over his military power, do you know whose hands the power at the border fell into? Prince Damien pondered for a moment and nodded. Is there a problem? The person holding the military power is a distant uncle of the 3rd prince, Prince Thomas. Even if they hide it well, it is not hard for father to find out. Prince Damien was stunned, extremely surprised. Prince Thomas. How that possible? Why is it not possible? Do you all think the emperor let the 4th prince and the crown prince kill each other for your sake? Prince Thomas has always not competed. But try looking at the people he associates with. They are all scholars brought from various places to the capital for the exams. I recounted my findings in detail to Prince Damien. He was a smart man. I didn't need to say much. I believed Prince Damien understood clearly. We were in the same boat. I did not hope for the big boat to capsize, nor did I want him to fail in the struggle for the throne, forcing me and my child to be buried with him. Prince Damien was silent for a moment, then sighed. Truly hateful. I was deceived again. He hurriedly went to find his strategists to calculate the next step. As for me, I just needed to peacefully nurture my pregnancy while silently executing what I wanted. The crown princess asked to meet me. I didn't go, she came to my door herself. In the past, one was a daughter of a civil official, the other a daughter of a military general. We didn't like the look of each other, but we both knew the other was capable. I thought you wouldn't receive me. The crown princess has come personally to my door. I am a sister-in-law, how dare I refuse, but not long ago she had a miscarriage and was poisoned. Her face was pale, so weak that I was afraid she would die in my house. That would be hard to explain. Catherine, you are luckier than me. Even though you are no longer clean, the second prince treats you like a treasure. The noble consort is also kind and generous. The backyard is clean and you are pregnant, with a powerful family helping you. I truly envy you. I looked at her and didn't answer. Wasn't she lucky too? The legitimate daughter of the Prime Minister's estate, with crowds of servants, dressed in luxury, going out in carriages, respected by everyone. Now coming here to complain about suffering. Truly ridiculous. The crown prince never loved me. His heart always remembers you. He cannot forget you. Get out. I coldly cut her off. Do you take me for a fool? You two are truly a perfect match. One is base, one is shameless. You were originally the legitimate daughter of the Prime Minister's estate, yet you lowered yourself to do unworthy things. I won't even mention the ugly things you did years ago. You ask why I don't associate with you. Because I despise people like you who do dirty things and then want to pretend to be noble. The crown prince is no better than a beast. Just mentioning him makes me furious. He can't live peacefully himself, so he wants to drag me down into the mud with him. If I weren't clear-headed and let him continue speaking those poisonous words, and they reached Prince Damien's ears, what would he think? Would it create a distance from me, or even make him turn against me? If I were a bit more stupid to believe his words and reveal Damien's secrets or join forces with the crown prince to harm Damien, that would be truly disgusting. Someone come, see the guest out. I recounted the crown princess's words to Prince Damien without missing a single letter. Sure enough, he was so angry he jumped up. This dead dog's head still hasn't given up hope. He's truly like a toad. He doesn't bite, but he makes people disgusted. No, he's not even equal to a toad. At least a toad doesn't harm people. I burst out laughing. Prince Damien, before marriage, made people feel he was high above. After marriage, he turned out to be like a silly boy. With this kind of person, why get angry? I scolded her severely enough for her to go home and hold a grudge. An arrogant person like her, being scolded by me like that, probably won't have the face to face me again. Next time, just scold her harshly. Don't hold back. Prince Damien spoke while placing his hand on my belly. Don't be angry and affect the baby. Nurture the pregnancy well and give birth to a beautiful child. I didn't know since when he learned to use such sweet words. The crown prince's end was even more tragic than we imagined. The evidence of his crimes was clear: unauthorized military training, weapon manufacturing, and making dragon robes privately. The emperor flew into a thunderous rage, immediately deposed the crown prince, demoted him to a commoner, and exiled him to guard the imperial mausoleum. Prince Damien came home and asked me, "Kitty, tell me, is there truly no true love in the royal family?" I replied, "There is. The affection mother consort has for you is real. Whether she likes me or not, because of her son, she always treats me kindly and doesn't make things difficult." Prince Damien asked again, "And you? Do you love me?" That question truly confused me. Any answer seemed wrong. What is love? Is it holding hands through difficulties, supporting each other in adversity, or respecting each other like guests? He treated me well, I knew it and remembered it in my heart. But love? I wasn't sure if I understood what love was. Prince Damien, as if afraid I would say something hurtful, hurriedly interrupted. "It's okay. I can wait. Wait until you truly love me." I gently rubbed his ear and said softly, "Right now, I am happy living with you. There is no fighting among concubines, no messy backyard. We are of one mind, have a common goal, and share a child. Because of the child, we are like two grasshoppers tied to the same string. Neither wants this string to break. As for whether you have feelings for me, or it is just utilization, is that important? In this world, there are many things more important than love. Love cannot fill a hungry stomach, cannot be worn as clothes, cannot be a shelter from the storm. I am a very practical girl. Taking care of the family and making money is important. Although relatives might stab me in the back, that possibility is very small. You shouldn't be angry here now, but take this opportunity to recruit the ministers who followed the Crown Prince's faction, I advised. Prince Damien nodded in agreement. You are right. Prince Thomas has always been without desire or contention, making many afraid to rely on him. But he has the Emperor backing him. We must think of a way to make the Emperor detest or suspect him. Naturally, Prince Thomas was not someone easily tricked. Prince Damien made moves many times, forcing Prince Thomas to yield step by step. I did not expect Prince Thomas to seek me out. I was even more surprised when, upon meeting, he said, "Second sister-in-law, have you ever been curious about who was with you that night?" He said. That night, the second sister-in-law was truly enthusiastic. It's a pity about that child. If he were still alive, he would be my eldest son. So the person that night was Prince Thomas. So everything was clear. The Emperor deceived the Crown Prince, saying he couldn't keep the Jiao family. The Crown Prince then plotted to destroy my purity to break off the engagement. That idiot just didn't know this was originally a conspiracy. I hadn't accounted for Prince Thomas from the beginning, but he jumped in himself to seek death. If it weren't for my pregnancy, I would have truly sent him to the Yellow Springs today. I mocked, then go spread the news. Let everyone know. If Damien rejects me, I will hang myself in front of Prince Thomas's manor. But if he doesn't leave me, we will definitely join forces to destroy everything you cherish, and then kill you. After speaking, I looked at him coldly and turned away decisively. I did not return to the prince's manor but went to my parents' home. My father did not go to the border but stayed home teaching a few disciples, living peaceful days. Father, I have an important matter to discuss with you, I said. My father replied, come in to study. Telling the story of that year was like a thorn in my heart, and even more of a wound in my father's heart. Knowing the truth, my father smashed the table, shouting angrily, "This is too much." I watched my father get angry and worried he would get sick, so I hurriedly reassured him. Father, I want to counterattack. Father replied, I support you. First, kill that distant uncle of Prince Thomas. Replace him with my men to cut off his path to military power. I said, after that, plant spies in Prince Thomas's manor. Wait for the right opportunity to deal a fatal blow. After 9 months of pregnancy, I was in pain for a whole day and night before giving birth to my and Damien's eldest son. Looking at my child, I slowly told Damien the story of how Prince Thomas had humiliated me. I had prepared a strip of white silk. Today I gambled. I gambled that he had some true feelings for me, gambled that he still needed the Jiao family. Prince Damien listened silently, then gently wiped my tears and said, Kitty, it is my fault. That night, I didn't arrive in time, didn't take you away in time. From the beginning, I was truly cowardly for not telling you sooner that I loved you. That dog Prince Thomas, I will make him pay. Don't think nonsense. I said I didn't mind, so I truly don't mind. Rest well and nurture your health. On the day of our son's 1-month celebration, Prince Damien brought good news. Last night, a major event happened in the palace. I raised an eyebrow. Everyone who came to drink the full-month wine looked like they knew something big but dared not say it. What happened? Prince Damien replied. Consort Jun committed adultery with another man and was caught in the act. Now the emperor suspects whether Prince Thomas is of royal blood or not. I paused for a second, then laughed until tears came out. This retribution was truly wonderful. The emperor was a person who, when he loved, wanted you to live, but when he hated, wanted you to die. Even if Prince Thomas was his biological son, he would feel uncomfortable in his heart. No matter how much he loved Consort Jun, he would consider himself betrayed. Consort Jun was thrown into the cold palace. Prince Thomas was confined to his manor, forbidden to go out. Prince Damien said again. The emperor's health was already poor, which is why he used this vicious move. The news that Prince Thomas hanged himself in his manor quickly spread. I guess that white silk was the very same one I had placed in front of Prince Damien that day. He was indeed crueler than I imagined. Consort Jun jumped into a well in the cold palace. The emperor fell critically ill. I followed Prince Damien into the palace to attend to the emperor. The emperor looked at me and called out, Second son's wife, come here. I took a few steps forward and bowed. Your subject greets Father Emperor. He mocked. Your Jiao family is truly capable. I looked into the emperor's eyes and saw only hatred and anger. I replied solemnly, the Jiao family has been loyal to the country, never harboring two hearts. My father and brother guard the border. If they don't have 100 scars on their bodies, they have 80. Thank you, Father Emperor. For the praise, the emperor said angrily, the Jiao family is indeed loyal. But the daughter of the Jiao family had her reputation ruined, was forced to break her engagement, and was driven to a dead end. I replied calmly, if I had truly sought death, what would my father and brother have done? Would they have swallowed the humiliation or rebelled? Who could say for sure? The emperor was so angry he fell ill and passed away. Prince Damien smoothly ascended the throne. I naturally became the empress. I once thought that when the court was stable, he would take in more concubines. I also thought the Empress Dowager would advise me to be generous and actively select concubines for the emperor. However, that mother and son pair, one pretended to be deaf, the other pretended to be dumb and didn't mention the matter. The Empress Dowager was happy every day with her grandson and didn't interfere in anything. With her grandson by her side, her son and daughter-in-law could go wherever they wanted. After finishing court affairs, Damien would either come to Wyong Palace or go to Signing Palace to pick up our son. Sometimes he would even take me to Signing Palace to have dinner. My eldest brother submitted petitions several times asking to return his military power, but Damien refused them all. The two men discussed all night, and after that, my brother didn't mention resigning again. I realized that Damien was an emperor who knew how to use talented people and lead skillfully. Use the person you don't suspect the person you don't use. Many times I deceived myself into thinking he must love me deeply. But then I quickly woke up. Being sentimental is the first step to destruction. The emperor and empress are not like ordinary couples, they are too entangled. One small move touches human lives, sometimes exterminating entire families. Keeping etiquette with each other, respecting each other like guests is the right way. When my second child was born, the former crown prince, now just a leisurely prince guarding the royal tombs, had no territory, no residence in the capital, and no heirs. I heard his days were numbered, and he wanted to see me one last time before he died. Damien took me to the imperial mausoleum to pay respects to the ancestors and conveniently meet him. Damien said, "Go quickly. I'll wait outside." I glanced at Damien and saw the jealousy in his eyes that he couldn't hide. I walked into the room. The man on the bed struggled to sit up. "Catherine, you came." I stood at a distance looking at this old and haggard man. Had I ever loved him? We were childhood sweethearts growing up together. When my father and brother were at the border, he had protected me so much. But all those good things vanished in the calculations of that day. I wanted to say something but couldn't utter a word. I just turned to walk away. He knelt on the ground and pleaded, "Catherine, I'm sorry. It was my stupidity." I believed the late emperor's words. He said the Jiao family's merit overshadowed the master. The people only knew the Jiao family, not the king. If I married you, the Jiao family would surely force the Son of Heaven to command the vassals, maybe even change the dynasty. I took a deep breath. I had guessed all these things long ago, but I didn't expect him to believe it and act against me. He screamed, "Catherine, look at me. Look at me." What was worth looking at in him? A fool who wasted food and polluted the air. When he died, he would contaminate the soil. Fate started when he reached out to me. Fate ended when he pushed me into the deep pit. We had settled all debts. I walked out of the room. Damien immediately approached, grabbing my hand. "Kitty, let's go home quickly. Father-in-law sent someone to say we need to discuss your brother's marriage." What was he plotting? As if no one knew. My brother is about to get married. That's good. Damien treating them thoughtfully was also very good. The sharp thorns in my heart had long been pulled out. I had a son and a daughter. My father and brother were both by my side. I was satisfied. Someone asked me if I loved Damien. He is my husband, the father of my children. Of course, I love him. But if he were not my husband, not the father of my children, but the husband of many others and the father of many other children, then I certainly would not love him. I am Catherine Jiao, cold and rational, always like that. This story teaches us that a woman's dignity is her strongest armor. Catherine refused to let betrayal destroy her, proving that resilience and intelligence can turn tragedy into triumph. Her relationship with Damien redefines love not as a fleeting fairy tale, but as a steadfast partnership built on mutual respect, protection, and shared goals. True happiness comes from knowing your own worth and choosing a partner who cherishes it, showing that a rational heart can find the deepest, most enduring kind of love. The story ends here for now. If it touched your heart or left you thinking, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Please like, subscribe, and share Raccoon Tale to help more stories come to life. See you in the next tale.